This is a December update on my 112 gallon Average Reef. The tank is looking really good. I've done quite a few changes. Unfortunately, my recent fish order didn't go well. Some of the stuff didn't come, and then I had a very expensive fish die in quarantine. I have, however, since gotten quite a few new corals, including some that came with that shipment. I have rearranged quite a bit, and I actually think the tank looks a little bit longer now, the way I have everything arranged. I've been saying for what seems like years the tank can't fit any more corals, but somehow it always does. First up is this Manila gorgonian. It's a non-photosynthetic coral. I kept it in the sump for a couple of days, and it took reefroids and some other small particle foods fine. So I moved it to this lower light location, and it's been open probably 80 to 90% of the time. It's doing quite well, so I'm quite happy with this piece. Underneath it, I moved my Duncan colony. Despite this being lower in the tank, it actually does get more light. It's not shaded out. This colony originally started as 1 or 2 polyps, but that was several years ago. And now it's a nice big ball with a lot of polyps all around it. In its previous location, it was getting stung pretty well. One more look at the gorgonian. And below that I have my Space Invaders Pectinia, which I finally fragged. I wanted to give a piece to a friend, so I reluctantly finally cut 3 small frags. It's already healing quite well, so I don't imagine it'll be very long until that part grows back. This new Goniopora is looking pretty good. It's pretty yellow, kind of yellowish green. I'm not exactly sure what species it is. I'm hoping it's the same one as this pink one here. That one started as quite a small frag, and as you can see, it's quite big now. The middle one is the short polyp one, which is growing, but growing very slowly. Over at the bottom, I noticed that my Barabanki was stinging that Vietnam microlord in front of it. Originally it was right beside it, and that's why that one polyp has some damage, and it hasn't really looked great for a while. So I moved it from beside it to in front of it. Since they have really short sweepers, I think it should be okay there. All the rest of these micros are looking very good, as are these zoos and pallies here. We're going to look at my snake polyps for a second. Yes, this is a very ugly coral, but I just happened to look at the tank at around 7 a.m. the other day, and I was surprised. The polyps were all open. Normally this thing only opens at like between 3 and 4 a.m. Again, it's not very attractive, but it's a pretty unique coral. I slightly moved the Acanthophilia. It does swell up pretty big, but I think it should be okay here. This is one coral I don't want to take a chance and have something sting it. The same goes for this rainbow chalice, which has finally almost completely covered the 3x3 tile. It's moved to a new location where it too can't be stung. These sun coral are new. They have been opening up at night, and they have been taking food, so hopefully it won't be too long until I can get them trained to open up during the daytime. I've placed them next to my dendro colony, which I've had for many, many years, and the rhizo has been pushed back right below it. I do actually have another really interesting non-photosynthetic coral, but I'm not entirely confident it will do well yet, so I'm reluctant to place it in the tank until I can get it eating well and hopefully opening up a little bit more than it has. When I got these new coral, I was able to trade in about a dozen or so frags of this Mr. Freeze Lepto. With that being the case, I can probably cut back the part that's creeping on the glass and start up some new frags. I always like to include a side shot. This one is pretty brief. Even though the tank is very narrow, this is my favorite view. My branching Cyphastria is continuing its slow, painful growth. And everything else in this corner is pretty much doing well, including this real nice chalice. And of course the Christmas Favia, seeing as it was just Christmas. Eventually I'll have to do something about this acro encrusting to the back wall, but for now it's okay sticking there. If you looked at the clips I posted recently, I really thought I was going to lose this Pocillopora. It was just melting away with either STN or a slower RTN. I gave it 4 antibiotic dips and it seems to be okay now. Before this passes by, this is a new Recordia Yuma. I just happened to have one little empty spot of rockwork there, and coincidentally it fit perfectly. So I guess I probably will still find a way to fit a few more corals. I do have a few in my house that I'm planning on adding to this tank. I do still need to get more fish. I guess I should stop being so picky and just pick something up, maybe some Anthias or something similar, just to give it a little bit more movement. But overall, I'm really liking how the tank is looking now. There's not much visible rockwork. I have a very good variety of basically all types of coral, and the tank is more or less full. I'm not sure what 2021 will bring, but hopefully it will be a lot of good things. Thanks for watching, and happy reefing.